Disclaimer, I'm going to be talking about the channel for a bit to start. If you don't give a shit about that, skip to
044.
Just skip to the actual review. So this video is going to be very different from what I normally do. For starters, it's the first video, and by extension series, I've ever made in which I make and follow a script. I'm going to be talking about a particular gun that I either use or just consider a good roll, and talk about the gun itself. Every Friday, or most Fridays anyway, we'll have a new gun I'll be talking about. Sundays will be dedicated to different exotics and or weapon archetypes I feel like having a discussion about. I may extend things further in the future, or just stop altogether. It's in a very volatile state currently. But without further ado, to start things off, I want to take this time to point out that I'm just some guy talking about a gun he likes in a game he likes. In no way is what I say a hard truth. I may dislike something you like. That'll happen. Slow to shoot, but brutal upon impact. The description says it all. The Duke is a 110 RPM high impact frame hand cannon. It does a lot of damage at base and can receive damage increasing perks to further enhance its raw power. Its range is akin to a compact scout rifle, which can also be further increased through perks and or a masterwork. You see a basic ad? This thing can one-tap it. Random legionary? Headshotted. If you're in a Nightfall, you may need to 2-tap a single ad. But don't worry, each subsequent ad will be reduced to a solitary headshot. If you get Rampage times 3, you can even start using the hand cannon to 3-tap the yellow healths that remain after killing their grunts. Looking at the base gun, it has extreme stopping power and mid to high range. You can get away with plinking at most ads in any reasonable distance. Its recoil is perfectly fine to me, but I've heard that it's pretty bad on console and even some PC players I met have disliked its kick. As for downsides, its reload is almost painfully slow and is entirely non-grindable, being locked behind a standard legendary Engram. Being a high impact frame, the Duke also fires at 110 rounds per minute, which some might say is slow. I say powerful. Let's get into its rolls. The Duke is interesting as it's one of the most polarized guns I've ever seen. I've gotten Dukes that were literal hot garbage that I insta-dismantled, and I've gotten a Duke that I've racked up over 40,000 kills with. The god roll that I'm rocking has Outlaw, Rampage, Ricochet rounds, and a range masterwork. Rampage pairs very well as it acts as a multiplier to the Duke's already very high base damage to culminate in extremely powerful shots. The Duke's decent range can be further increased by the sight, mag, and masterwork to then allow it to function as a pocket scout rifle. If you find the recoil particularly unbearable, you can have rapid hit to drastically increase stability, though, in my opinion, rapid hit doesn't pair too well with the 110. And finally, the gun's extremely awful reload speed is entirely rendered moot through either outlaw or rapid hit, which makes spam reloading a way of life. Also, the sight your Duke gets really doesn't matter. As long as it has some additional range and it fits with whatever your preferences are, you'll be fine. For the first column, I recommend Outlaw. A single headshot and your reload speed is cranked out for a few seconds. Rapid hit is also a good option for those struggling with recoil, though I don't like how instantaneously it disappears if you don't snag the reload. If you want raw range, then rangefinder would be a good choice, though I think it's just excessive. The triple tap and Zen moment are just pretty trash. As for the bullets, Ricochet rounds is your best option. Ricochet rounds increases range far more than accurized rounds, though it doesn't say so in game. And gives 10 stability. As the Duke is a high impact frame hand cannon, it comes with high caliber rounds built in. If you can't get ricochet rounds, armor piercing rounds would be the next best option, as it increases range the same as high cal with the added bonus of additional shield damage. If you can't get a bullet mod, or your only other option is high cal, then you won't go too wrong with flared magwell or light mag. They both also increase range by 5 and even increase reload speed a bit if you want that. Then extended and appended just increase the raw amount of bullets you have, which admittedly is nice, but if you have outlaw or rapid hit, you should just also constantly have a full magazine via reloading anyway. In summary, the magazine perk won't make or break your Duke, but can certainly add some additional seasoning. For the last and certainly least interesting column, either Rampage or Kill Clip. All the other perks are worthy of the first column and really don't benefit enough, whereas Rampage and Kill Clip are both phenomenal at what they do. Either works just fine, but I prefer Rampage as it doesn't require a reload and even allows for 2-tapping in the Crucible. As for the Masterwork, range is the only one that really helps you directly. Reload speed is entirely covered by Outlaw, stability doesn't help too much, and handling is generally pointless. In conclusion, the Duke Mark 44 hits like a train without brakes. Its major downsides can be almost entirely negated by some perks, and it's overall a very powerful weapon. If Cade didn't have the Ace of Spades, I know he'd approve of this hand cannon.